Oh, I remember World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King too well. Like, this was probably my most favorite expansion in WoW. And will WoW Classic Wrath of the Lich King live up to that expectations that we old school players have and stuff? I don't know, maybe. Let's hear what Nixxiom has to say about that.
From the icy shores of the Dragonblight to the howling mountains of Storm Peaks, Wrath of the Lich King is an expansion that we all remember with a ton of fondness. Some people even say that Wrath of the Lich King was the pinnacle of World of Warcraft. And today, I figured in celebration of Wrath of the Lich King Classic coming out, I wanted to tell you guys about my experiences playing this expansion all those years ago. The expansion that turned me into a raider, a role player, and even the WoW Machinima guy that you know and love.
So it was your favorite expansion too?
In Wrath of the Lich King. But before we get into talking about Wrath of the Lich King, we have to thank today's sponsor. This video was sponsored by Shadowmourne. Are you a Death Knight that just wants to cleave off people's heads while you wait for Wrath of the Lich King to come out? Well, look no further for your weapon then, because the link in the description has you covered. Use this high-quality axe to cleave through filthy Alliance peasants with ease, or poor dogs as they soil their loincloths.
They soil their what?
Shadowmourne, and it's linked below, down in the description.
Holy shit.
Right. Let us begin by talking about the Burning Crusade. In BC, I was a complete noob. I admit it, 100%. I barely raided, I barely did heroic dungeons, because honestly, I didn't know how the game worked at
the TBC, I remember that. Yo, you guys probably know that, right? Like, when I was like younger and stuff, and there was like TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, this was probably like the last expansion I actually played on my friend's computer. So I had a very shit computer. I didn't have a WoW subscription back then. And you know what I did? And this is like very strange. Like, I had a friend that was also my neighbor. And I would literally, and this sounds so strange what I'm going to say, I would literally go next door, use his freaking computer for hours, and play World of Warcraft on his computer. Like, I was literally sharing his computer. I remember when I was like playing back in the day. I was playing like a Orc Shaman, and I was also playing a Forsaken Warrior. And this was like so crazy. And I would like freaking go to his place all the time for hours and play. Like, he would even not be there. Like, sometimes I would be alone in his freaking home with the computer. Like, holy shit, those were the good old days. And then I finally got older, I made some money, and then I got like a subscription at my own computer that freaking works with like newer games and stuff. You know, those were the days. Yeah, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
At all back in TBC.
But I sucked. I was not good at the beginning.
Do was world PvP and do battlegrounds.
I knew a bit about PvP.
Of raiding in Outland though. Did several raids of Karazhan. Went to Gruul's Lair, got myself some tier pieces, but mostly I was just a PvP guy in Burning Crusade, and I didn't touch PvE because I didn't think I was a good enough player.
Well, PvP was not bad back in the day.
Expert, high-tier World of Warcraft veterans. And then Wrath of the Lich King came out, and I was determined to change my fate.
The trailer was so
wow. A true World of Warcraft hardcore player. And so I committed to being my realm first level 80 undead mage. Did I succeed? Hell no, I didn't. But I came pretty close. I no-lifed Wrath of the Lich King. I wrote that it was the greatest day ever on my math test the day the expansion came out. I got an F.
An F.
And I got in a lot of trouble with my mom.
Oh no.
And as soon as I stepped into Northrend,
the same thing actually happened to me. Like, I was actually like, gaming can be dangerous if you're younger, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I was actually like, I'm this kind of person. I'm like smart, I learn fast, but I hate to study. So for me it was like this. When I was like really addicted to WoW and I was playing, I would like go over to my friend for like hours and stuff. I would study very little. And I would get like average to sometimes even below average grades in freaking exams. And then there were like periods of time where either he was busy or something, and for like weeks I would stay mostly at home, and I would have like suddenly good grades. So it was like funny. I would get like one exam of a D or even worse, and then I would get suddenly a B in the next exam or something. So it was like a lot of ups and downs, and this was like because I was like really playing a lot of video games back in the day, and I was not studying much. But when I did study, it was very good because I don't think I'm a stupid individual, so I could like catch up very fast with like stuff from school.
I was just left in
I was
awe
very
by
not into studying.
everything that this expansion had to offer. The music, the scenery, the dungeons, artwork, just the entire design of the expansion was beautiful. I especially loved as a mage getting abilities like Mirror Image, which immediately became my favorite spell in the game, and I still love Mirror Image to this day as the best mage spell ever come up with by Blizzard. I absolutely love it. And the best part was, for me,
Monk has a cool thing too with clones.
People had challenged me, my friends. They had said, dude, you've never played Warcraft 3 before. You don't even know anything about this game. You need to play Warcraft 3. I had...
Wait. Is that even possible? Hold up. Nixxiom never played Warcraft 3 before? What? No way. Nixxiom, if you're watching this video, please tell me the truth. Did you really never play Warcraft 3? Like, you didn't play Warcraft 3? What? How is that possible? Like, Warcraft 3 is very, very fun. It's very great. I feel like back in the day, if you were around like the WoW era, you have at least seen someone play it, or you have played it a couple of times, like Warcraft 3. It's really great. Like, one thing I'm wondering if there will ever be a Warcraft 4. Because I think Warcraft 3 was such a huge success. It's like one of my most favorite strategy games. Like, I really, really hope they make a Warcraft 4. I'm so gonna play that.
I had just played through it. I had just beaten it.
And not remastered, but
Arthas ascend to the top of Ice Cream Citadel. And now I was in Northrend. Now I was seeing the Lich King. I was doing the quests and exploring the same places that I saw in Warcraft 3. And it drove my mind wild. It was the fulfillment of the vibes and the fantasy that I got by playing the Warcraft 3 RTS at the end of Burning Crusade. Now, here's the thing. I really liked TBC. TBC was a fantastic...
Okay, so I have my answer. He did play Warcraft 3, but by the end of TBC. So he played Warcraft 3 late, and there's no shame in that. Like, it's no problem if you play it late. Like, maybe he was into other stuff back in the day, but it's okay. It's cool. At least now he knows.
Expansion, but me, I'm kind of like your old school fantasy guy. I don't really like the whole idea of outer space, or as I said in my previous video where I mentioned Shadowlands, I don't like this idea
of going are strange with their backstory, right?
Or time ways, or like fighting death and stuff. I don't care about that. I want to climb mountains. I want to fight zombies. I want to descend into haunted castles. That's what I want to do. And Wrath of the Lich King had that in excess. And this is why, for someone like me, as I was playing through Northrend, I was falling in love with World of Warcraft in a way that I had never fallen in love with the game before. Whereas in the past, I didn't really care about the story or reading quest text or anything like that. I just, you know, freaked out at being in this other world. Now suddenly I was learning about the world, and I was learning the lore. And I actually, I think this is the first time where I got truly, deeply, almost disturbingly immersed into a video game. It was awesome. I hit max level, I joined a guild called Chaos Theory, and I immediately started to raid on the regular with my guild. That's
nice.
Doing Naxxramas 25-man, doing Naxxramas 10-man, doing Malagos, doing Seltharion or whatever.
And I think actually this is one of the reasons why Wrath of the Lich King was so successful. I feel like they did really well with the raids and dungeons that they've added there. Like, they're really, really fun to do. I felt the same way back in the day. And another thing that's like really, really great is it's a conclusion basically to what happened in Warcraft 3, right? With like Arthas and what is his fate and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people that played Warcraft 3, they wanted to know what will happen to Arthas in the future. Like, what is his fate and stuff, right? And like Wrath of the Lich King, it came to a conclusion. Like, this was like the ending basically of Arthas, right? So a lot of people that played back in the day Warcraft 3, they were really happy about it, about the ending, like the conclusion, to know what's like next, like what's the new plot. Because like World of Warcraft takes basically for the most part place around the time where like the events are taking place also, right? Like it's shortly after Warcraft 3. Like it's very shortly after. But yeah, this is like a bit more in the future and the conclusions and stuff. And exploration, like holy shit, like Northrend, like the whole new zone that came with like those smaller zones within that zone, like like the exploration with like this Nordic kind of Vicro buildings and stuff. I think Grizzly Hills is probably like my favorite zone there. Because like I really love this kind of Nordic vibe with like those huge giant pine trees, the Nordic buildings, the giants. Like Grizzly Hills is like probably even till this day like my favorite zone in WoW. I really love it. It's also cool how we learn more about freaking trolls and their lore in the new zone Northrend that we got then. Like this was so cool. I love doing the quest about trolls as well while leveling. This was so nice.
Whatever that bastard's name was, I don't even remember. It's been a long time. The dude with the drakes, and enjoying the Lagapalooza fest that was Wintergrasp.
Timeless proto drake.
It was a beautiful time, my friends. I had fulfilled something, and in doing this, I had fulfilled a goal of mine with Wrath of the Lich King. I wanted to be a raider, a real raider, not just a roaming ganker or PvPer that lived in battlegrounds. I wanted to get into PvP. I wanted to kill Kel'Thuzad because, again, I had just played through Warcraft 3. I wanted to see this guy.
Ending.
I wanted to cripple the forces of the Lich King. And it was awesome. The first time killing Kel'Thuzad, the first time going through Nax and Wrath, absolutely blew my mind. To be fair, though, Nixxiom was a complete joke at Wrath's launch. No one denies that. I mean, you could literally just pug it with a bunch of dudes wearing greens. Like, you didn't even have to do.
But they made it more difficult with a patch.
Hopefully, when Wrath comes out, they kind of have tuned it and made it a little, you know, more, yeah, a little bit more challenging. Also, nerf Ret Paladins, because goodness gracious, at the beginning of Wrath of the Lich King, Ret Paladins and Death Knights were unstoppable.
Oh, blood
the
decay.
expansion progressed, though, and I got deeper into reading the World of Warcraft books, making alts, and reading through the storylines of zones that I had quested through before back on Azeroth, the Eastern Kingdoms, and Kalimdor, but I never actually took the time to really learn the lore of these places. And so when Ulduar came out, I admit that I did Ulduar, but I only went in there twice, and I...
Is it just me, or did you guys also experience this kind of thingies from Wrath of the Lich King, where you go from zone to zone and it feels like you're actually pretty stuck in one zone and you progress a bit more slow? I actually, like, one thing I also love about Wrath of the Lich King, like the amount of time it takes to finish one zone. I feel like in TBC and like other, like in the base, like WoW, like classic WoW, I feel like you're very fast in a zone. Like you're there for like a bit, then you go there, then you go there. But I feel like in Wrath of the Lich King, or is it because I was like reading more there? I don't know, but I feel like everything took a bit longer to complete there. Yeah, I guess I was reading a lot of quest dialogues because I was like so curious about Arthas and his fate. Yeah, that's probably why, but I liked actually taking a bit longer to like level and stuff.
I didn't even make it that far. Because around this time, I had kind of become a bit of a lore nerd. And I even started to roleplay. I had characters on
I love his role-playing site.
I was talking to people about the lore. I was doing theory crafting. We were talking about the new Warcraft books that had come out, like Arthas, Rise of the Lich King.
Oh.
We were geeking out. I
don't have a single book, to be honest.
And we were talking about Wrath of the Lich King, discussing the lore and stuff, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Like, Wrath was such a special time in Warcraft's history. I can't really describe it to people that weren't there, but it makes sense to me why people say that Wrath was the pinnacle of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, pretty much.
I prefer classic WoW's gameplay, but Wrath was awesome. There might have been things that I did not enjoy about Wrath. Again, Nixxiom was pretty easy. Wrath was the tank and spank expansion when it came to dungeons. You didn't have to crowd control anymore.
And later he turns
Wrath
into
of
an
the Lich King
undead.
introduced LFG at the end, which I think was an absolutely terrible mistake. Even at the time, I thought it was a mistake. I'm glad they're not.
Yo, but Garrosh looked so weird back in the day. Like they completely changed his freaking skin. Like the Garrosh we get in the future expansion, like it does look like the Garrosh we had in Wrath of the Lich King. Like I feel like those are two different kind of orcs. Like seriously, like you have to check out his old school skin. And he didn't have all those flashy tattoos. His face looked like a regular mecha orc. Like it was so different back in the day. Oh, Garrosh.
Wrath of the Lich King introduced LFG.
That's before he went crazy.
I think was an absolutely terrible mistake. Even at the time, I thought it was a mistake. I'm glad they're not bringing it back in Wrath Classic. Goodness gracious. I'm so happy about that. But the point is, despite any faults that I had with Wrath of the Lich King, it was a great expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Naturally, though, as I got deeper into...
Wait a second. This zone... Wasn't this like this zone with like the freaking goblins? And there are like some animals that are like oil-soaked or something. And they're like freaking black. And they have something with oil in their name. Oh, yeah. This is interesting. I think there's someone like a goblin that gives you a quest or something. If I remember correct.
Naturally, though, as I got deeper into roleplay and as I was making my characters and reading...
How do I remember so well everything
about the lore
about it?
Wrath of the Lich King was also the time when World of Warcraft content creation was really taking off in new ways.
Finally.
People like Martin Falk and Oxhorn and others were making these awesome machinima movies, and I was sitting there as a young kid playing around in Sony Vegas and Windows Movie Maker thinking, you know, I could make videos like that. And so I took my characters like Nixxiom and I started to make machinima like the very first one on this channel, Revenge. How crazy would it be if I remastered this video for the release of Wrath of the Lich King Classic? That would just be wild, wouldn't it? So it was during Wrath of the Lich King that I started to actually try to become a machinima maker, a content creator. I didn't know how YouTube worked at that time. I was just messing around making videos with my guildmates. But it was fun. And it was during this expansion that the seeds were planted that led to the How To Class series on my channel and all the videos that you know and love and watch here. And so as Wrath of the Lich King progressed and as it came to an end, I kept role-playing. I kept making videos.
You know what's interesting about machinimas? Like, I know how to write good stories for machinimas, but I have no clue from a technological view how to do those freaking animations and stuff. Like, there was like a point in my life where I thought about, oh, I want to do this too, maybe I want to make a machinima, but I have no clue how to do this, that you use like your character, for example, that you have in WoW, and you're like dancing in a funny way, then you zoom in somewhere, then you have like those special effects, you have like people talk to you, and you have like those mimics, the other person does those mimics. Like how do you do that? Do you like pre-record this with a friend? You blend out your character names and stuff, and then you just edit it to add like light effects and stuff, because I sometimes feel like I see animations in machinimas that don't exist in game, so they're probably using some sort of other tool or something. I have no clue how to do it. I think it's not like, for me, I think I'm a pretty decent writer when it comes to like stories and plots or like RP scenarios, but I have no clue from a technological point of view how you actually make those machinimas. Because it looks like it's something recorded from in-game, but then again it's not, so there must be some sort of software that has the same graphics that WoW has, where you can control the character and do maybe some sort of emotes and mimics that don't even exist in-game. Like, this is that confusing, because it has the same graphics like WoW, but it does those funny animations and stuff and effects that you can't do in WoW. So I don't know what machinima makers are using, what kind of software, but it has like the same kind of engine and graphics that WoW has, but it's not WoW. Like that's the confusing part. Like, I have no clue how they do it.
Videos. I kept PvPing. I would occasionally do dungeons and stuff, and I sort of became an altaholic, just leveling characters through Northrend on my very
That
first
can be
WoW
addicting
account.
though, and you don't progress on your
Citadel
main.
happened. Icecrown Citadel. Admittingly, I never expected Blizzard to actually kill Arthas. I didn't think they would do this.
A big surprise.
Just because of all the established lore behind him. And I admit that I was so much of a lore fanboy and an Arthas fanboy that I refused to go into Icecrown Citadel. I refused to raid, and I refused to kill the Lich King, my favorite character.
You know what's weird? I actually wanted to redeem Arthas. I thought like always, because that's like literally the story. He picks up the sword and gets corrupted. What I actually had hoped that you actually break the sword or something and you actually somehow save Arthas and not kill him. But then I heard something about he is no longer even alive. His heart or something is missing, right? Or like there's some theories. And there's like this kind of heart you can find in some sort of basement kind of water thingy place. Like some underground system or something. So yeah, he's probably not even alive anymore. But I had the hopes to actually like freaking save Arthas. but then yeah, when it was over and we learned all about it and he freaking died and stuff in the raid and yeah.
Boy,
I wanted to redeem him.
I refused to go into Icecrown Citadel.
But,
I refused to raid, and I refused to kill the Lich King, my favorite character. And to this day, I've never properly done the Lich King fight with a raid group.
Wait a second, Arthas doesn't even exist anymore, right? Wasn't his like soul even erased in the freaking Shadowlands? What actually happens now to Arthas? Is he no longer existing at all, not even his soul? Like, any lore experts here, like, what happened now with Arthas? Because his soul was forged into the sword that Anduin has been using, that, like, freaking also corrupted him, right? So what happens now with Arthas? He completely is erased from existence? Or is his soul still existing somewhere? Like, that's something I would love to know.
Other than just going and trying to farm Invincible. I never really understood why they called it Invincible. I can see it. I never got to
It's not invincible. Invincible, not invisible.
I never got to experience that ending cutscene cinematic. I never got to do that with a guild. And so with the release of Wrath of the Lich King Classic on the way, I'm going to tell you guys a few things. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to with the re-release of this expansion.
Because now you can do it.
I can't wait to go to Northrend again. I can't wait to be wearing tabards and grinding reputation by doing dungeons. I can't wait to kill Malagos, go through Naxxramas again, see Ulduar properly, and do the Argent tournament. Most of all, I just can't wait to kill the Lich King. Because although I am a Lich King fanboy, I think it's about that time. It's about that time that Nixxiom paid Arthas a visit. You know
yeah.
Yes, I'll play Dragonflight. Yes, in many ways, I'm excited for it.
It is gonna be exciting.
Hyped to
it's
play
gonna be
Wrath
fun,
of
I
the
think.
Lich King again. It might not be my favorite time period of WoW. That would be classic WoW. But Wrath of the Lich King is just an incredible expansion with an incredible storyline, an incredible immersive environment. It has so many memories attached to it for me. Getting into Machinima for the first time, finally becoming a raider, and just fulfilling that story that Warcraft 3 left us off at. Guys, I don't know what you thought about Wrath of the Lich King, but hopefully you're as excited as I am.
I think it's my favorite expansion.
If you have a story you want to share about the good old days of this expansion, please leave it in a comment below. And I will see you all with my next video where, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about something. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like Wrath of the Lich King Classic is gonna be a big thing, but there's something that's freaking confusing me, and what's actually happening with like WoW Classic? Because what I'm seeing right now is they're turning WoW Classic actually into WoW Retail, but just with a delay. Because when you think about it, now if we get Wrath of the Lich King Classic, we are also getting a WoW Cataclysm Classic. Then we're getting WoW Mists of Pandaria Classic. And it may be 20 years from now we have WoW Shadowlands Classic or something. like seriously, I'm not kidding, guys. Like, what if in 10 years or 20 years we have WoW Shadowlands Classic? Then what comes next? WoW Dragonflight Classic? what will our grandchildren freaking play, I wonder? No, like seriously, like I see more and more how WoW Classic becomes WoW Retail Classic or something. Like, it's weird. Like, it's really weird. Like, I don't know. Like, cause there needs to be at some point a stop as well, right? Like, what is the last WoW Classic? Will there be a last WoW Classic? Will like WoW Shadowlands Classic be the last one and we're like 5-6 expansions ahead then, and then it's like over? Like, what will be the last WoW Classic, I wonder? I'm pretty sure like people already start or are going to meme about this, about what I just said, like how WoW Classic becomes more WoW Retail. Like seriously, it's just, yeah, it's like kind of like you're in a different time zone or something like that. Like you travel 10 years to the past or something. But I'm really hyped for it. Like I can't wait to level their character and stuff. But I will also invest a lot of time in retail, especially when like Dragonflight comes out. I'm gonna be even more crazy about this because I really want to explore the new zones. I want to read through all the quests. And yeah. And yeah, by the way guys, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget, hit that subscribe button for more content. And let me know in the comment section, what is your most favorite WoW expansion? And why is it your most favorite WoW expansion? I'm really curious about it. For me, I think it's Wrath of the Lich King. But what I also really liked was, and you guys are gonna think maybe I'm crazy for that, but I actually think Warlords of Draenor is not that bad. Like I really love this about like the orcs, the lore, about like the Mecha and what's like happening there. I just wish like Warlords of Draenor was a bit bigger, like a bit more in depth and stuff. But I love the concept of going to the Outlands before they are destroyed and stuff like that. So yeah, probably like Wrath of the Lich King and Warlords of Draenor. I really love those two. Legion is decent too, to be honest. Maybe like my third favorite. Alright, I wish everyone a wonderful day. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.